We have got a lot to talk about. The solo series finals are this weekend and I want to give you my predictions for the top 10. I also want to talk about the 2 victory cups we had this week and which teams did well in them. And orgs have been incredibly busy. There's been a ton of new player signings and after 5 years, TaySon has officially left Falcons. Let's get straight into it. So the solo series finals are this weekend. It's 12 games taking place over 2 days. And as the reigning champion Teeny did not qualify for the finals, we will 100% have a new winner. Before I give you my top 10, let's go over some honourable mentions. We've got a couple of players that I do really like, but I'm not sure on their drop situations. We've got Trucio, Twy and Wox, players that I genuinely all think are capable of getting in the top 10. I'm just not a fan of their drop spots. They're all landing right around the edge of the map, and with the new storm surge, the net damage surge, landing mid-map is definitely a big advantage. So I haven't put these guys in the top 10 because of that, but they are all very capable players. Someone else who just misses out is Moneymaker. He's been doing great lately, placing high in a lot of events with Th0ma. He's been doing great. He's got an uncon split. Th0ma is also landing with him, so he shouldn't be getting keyed too much. I think he could do great. He just misses out on the top 10. King Cringe, another player that is excellent at solos, someone who has really cracked the solos meta. He's been doing great in it for months now. Again, narrowly misses out on the top 10 because the standard of this lobby is just so high. Other players to watch out for include Franek, who seemingly is splitting Humble Hills with his compatriot Kaisers. Volko and Combek I both think are players that shouldn't be underestimated. I could realistically see them sneaking into the top 10. And Giras as well. He's splitting Treetop Terrace with Syned, more on him later. I could certainly see him doing well too. Now let's get into a couple of players that are very good, that are top solo players, but because of their drop slot situations, I just can't see them doing too well in this event. We've got Karama, who, if you know anything about EU, is one of the top solo players in the region. He's always doing well in these kind of events. It only took him 1 game to qualify through heats. That's the level of player we're talking about here. Unfortunately, he's got 3 players landing on him at 4 fields, with a lot of players also surrounding him too. So unless he gets a better drop, I just can't see him doing well. It's a similar story with Th0ma. He is contested by Clement at his split. Swizzy has got 3 other players landing with him at Lethal Labs, so that will probably stop him from doing well. Fishy X is contested by Artist. Chino and Pablo, quite an unclear drop situation there. They've got Sangild and Finchik landing on them. I know Sangild is Danish too, so I'm not quite sure what the fighting off spawn situation is going to look like. Maybe they do split it, but right now I've got all of those guys outside of the top 10. And one situation that I'm not 100% clear on, and if you guys know anything about this, then please feel free to comment it below. Vanya and Dan DePuzo are both landing at Latte Landing. I'm not sure whether they're going to split, whether they're going to fight. I know they're both CIS players, but I've not seen any information to indicate what that spawns fight's going to look like. If they do both split it, then they are both genuine contenders to get in the top 10. They're both excellent players. I mean, Vanya needs no introduction. Dan DePuzo, also a great player, won one of the games in heats. I could easily see both of these guys doing well, but because we don't have a lot of clarity on the situation of spawn, I can't put either of those guys in the top 10 for now. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the top 10. I do want to make it clear that the drop map will change between now and Saturday, so my official 100% locked predictions will happen over on my Twitter at Spodzon just before the tournament starts. But for now, with the drop map we have, this is my top 10. In 10th, I have Syned. He's splitting Treetop Terrace with his teammate Giras. They've both been looking great actually as a team, both in good form, and I could easily see Syned doing really well in this tournament. He came 3rd for consistency in his heat. He's a top player in a good favourable drop situation. I don't think there's any reason why he'll underperform. I've got him in 10th. In 9th place, I've put Vico. This is quite a tough one because Vico is an excellent solo player, incredibly explosive, an unbelievable fighter, very intelligent too, and with all of those things taken into account, putting him in 9th almost feels a bit harsh. And listen, maybe come Saturday I'll change my mind and put him a bit higher. I just felt like he underperformed in the Eraser LAN. He underperformed a bit in the solo series. I need to see some better performances from him in set lobby solo finals before I can consider putting him in the top 5. I think 9th place from an uncontested split is a reasonable prediction, but I do think he's going to do well. In 8th place, I've got Malabuka. He's someone who is obviously excellent at solos. He has a real track record, came 3rd in the previous solo series. Again, I do feel like it seems harsh that he's not higher. The reason why I've put him in 8th is because I'm just not a fan of his drop. He's landing up north of the map above Wonky Land, and there's just a ton of players landing around him, and I just feel like that's going to get very volatile. He could be vulnerable in that situation. I don't know, I could just see him getting keyed. I could just see him getting griefed. I've got a bad feeling about that whole area of the map. So I think 8th is a fair prediction. With the next 3 players, it was incredibly hard to order them, and honestly I could see some changes happening come Saturday, but in 7th place I've put Shxrk. Now he is obviously landing at Battlewood Boulevard, splitting the north side with his compatriots Skye and Refsgard, and that's quite a favourable situation. Obviously he won't be taking lots of damage, so he shouldn't be below Surge. He's also landing at a spot that is relatively close to the mid-map. It's certainly not on the edge, so that will benefit him too. I think this is pretty favourable, and Shxrk is someone who over the last few months has been excellent. He's been working really hard, playing a lot of tournaments on NA Central, even winning games on NA West. He's someone that I think has been great lately, and 7th I think is a fair placement for him. In 6th place I've got Th0ma. Now he's also got a very favourable drop spot situation, landing on the split south of Bumpy Bay. Bumpy Bay obviously populated by 2 other Polish players, so because of this I don't think Th0ma is going to be getting keyed too much. I don't think he'll be taking too much damage. We know he's a top player, and I feel like with this situation he will take advantage of it and manage a high finish. In 5th place I've got Skye. He'll do well for all the same reasons as his teammate Shxrk will. It's interesting because I feel like Shxrk has actually been the player that's been in the better form over the past few months, but in terms of solos I actually rate Skye a little bit higher. He did really well in his heat, finishing 1st for consistency, so I think 5th is a fair placement for him. Now we're really getting into the big placements. In 4th place I've got Pixie. In my opinion he was the best player of 2025. He is exceptionally good at solos. He's a great fighter. He has a split uncontested. I am a little bit concerned that it's on the edge of the map. I do also worry that Minori might take some of his loot, so he's not got the most comfortable drop spot situation. Certainly a couple of the players below him like Skye, Shxrk and Th0ma definitely looking more comfortable where they're landing. However, Pixie is just so good that even with that situation he has to be at least 4th, if not he could go higher. He's just so great at solos, he's so capable at fighting, and we've seen in past tournaments that he will place highly, so 4th place I think is very fair. In 3rd place I've put Shxrk. Now I'm aware that for a lot of people's predictions he'll be in 1st place, and I do think he's going to do great. However, I think there's 2 players on the map that will do slightly better than him. We all know what a good solo player Shxrk is. He won the Nvidia Cup the other day by over 150 points, breaking the points record as he did it. He was also the first player to make these finals, qualifying after winning game 1 of his heat. Shxrk's off-spawn situation is also a little bit unclear. He's landing at Wonky Land, and there'll be 2 other Romanian players landing with him, Vinicius and Turtle. It's not quite clear whether they're going to be splitting, whether they're going to be fighting. I do believe that Shxrk and Vinicius won't fight each other. Turtle may be a little bit more volatile. He could potentially fight Shxrk in some of the games. There's also rumours that Higgs might land at Wonky Land. To be honest with you though, Shxrk is one of the top fighters in the EU. I think whoever lands on him, he probably will dispatch them in most games. No one in their right mind would view Shxrk as an easy fight. I do think he's going to do great despite the drop spot situation. Obviously in the previous solo series, he landed at Supernova Academy, splitting with his teammate Teeny. Only managing 6th in that tournament, he was looking like he was going to do a lot better, but he did get somewhat griefed in the final game. Without Teeny in this tournament, it might be a bit different, but I do think we're going to see Shxrk finish in a high position. I just feel like there's 2 players that I rate a little bit more at this moment in time. Now you can probably figure out who I'm predicting as the winner based on the player that I'm predicting 2nd, which is Charyy. He is someone that is excellent at solos. He won via Razorland, narrowly missed out on winning the last solo series, coming 2nd. He's someone who we know has figured out the strategies regarding the new net damage surge. If you didn't watch the solo series, what he would do is he would base up super high on the Shining Span bridge and just basically avoid taking damage, sitting in Storm, and then he would never be below surge come the late game. And obviously he doesn't have access to the bridge this time, but he is splitting a POI with his teammate Charyy, so he shouldn't be taking too much unnecessary damage. There's no reason Cammy won't do well in this tournament. We know how good of a solos player he is, we know how well he prepares for these tournaments. Second place is where I see him finishing, only being beaten out by the player that I have to come first, which is of course his teammate Charyy. Charyy is an excellent all-round player. In my opinion, there really aren't any weaknesses to his game, and I can't understand why people don't talk about him more as one of the top pros in EU. I actually predicted Charyy to win the last solo series. If you didn't watch that event, he got killed by a cheater in game 1. He ended up coming 4th in the whole tournament, but if you took his point average from the 5 games that he was actually able to play out, if he'd played out that 6th game based on that, he would have won the tournament. This is how good Charyy was, and I definitely feel like that went under the radar. I believe he's going to win this tournament for all the same reasons that I said Cammy would do well, except I just think Charyy has that little bit of an edge to him in terms of his fighting, in terms of his decision making. He is my pick to win the solo series. So that's my provisional top 10 for the EU solo series. As I mentioned before, my official 100% locked predictions will be on my Twitter just before the tournament, so check those out if you're interested. Now let's get into the 2 victory cups that we had this week. I'll start by going back to Monday, where we had the Duo Victory Cup. This is actually the final Duo Victory Cup in its current iteration, and we had 4 teams manage to win twice. They were Ortmo and Andes, Trippen and Lunex, Moneymaker and Fanayan, and a team that I don't know too much about, the Hungarian duo of Shxrk and Bendino. Credit to all of those duos. We actually had a lot of the top teams in EU win games during this cup. If you scroll down the leaderboard, it's basically just a who's who of all the top European pros, and that includes Mongrel and Mr. Savage managing to win a game. Big credit to them. We also saw Veno playing with a new teammate. If you don't know by now, he is going to NA Central to play with Cold, but for now he's just playing with random EU teammates each week, and this week he chose to play with Shxrk, which was quite an interesting duo to watch. I mean, honestly, if they did choose to play together, I'm sure they'd be very good. But Shxrk is doing great with Teeny right now. The only reason they didn't play together was because Teeny had a prior commitment, which actually got cancelled, but Shxrk didn't want to snake Veno. Shxrk and Veno did manage to win a game, and I have to say they looked good, but listen, this isn't going to stop Shxrk and Teeny from being one of the top teams in EU this year. We also saw Uppal playing with Zarbi. These are 2 players that I've spoken about a lot in recent videos because they just can't quite find a teammate, and the fact that they've settled on each other might be almost poetic. I could see them doing very well together. Zarbi, obviously a top fighter, a very good mechanical creative player. Uppal, someone who no one's ever doubted his quality, but he's just not been able to find a teammate that sticks. Since he played with Charyy and Vico in Chapter 6 Season 1, he's just not quite been able to put it all together. Yes, he qualified for Globals with Focus and Mixon, but I was just never 100% convinced by that trio. Uppal, someone who's great. I can see him doing well with Zarbi. We'll have to see if they stick. Over on NA Central, we had something that very, very rarely happens. An EU team managing to win 2 games. Cade and Pixovsky winning twice. Big credit to them, that's a big achievement. In terms of other duos that won, we had Indo and Jerdy, Malabuka and Panzer, Scroll and Veno, Flickzy and Globshi, Vico and Volko, Pablo Wingu and Kiro, and Tarps and CJ. Now let's move over to Tuesday's Reload Victory Cup. Now, unlike the previous tournament, this is actually a set lobby finals, which means we only had 3 games. And we only actually ended up having 2 winners because Chap and Flickzy managed to win twice. That's a pretty big achievement considering it was set lobbies. Chap and Flickzy, a team that have looked great in Reload for quite some time now. If you can remember back to the Simpsons season when we had the PlayStation Reload Cup, they actually managed to win that. And there are a lot of good teams in that finals, including Akira and Karama, Shxrk and Teeny, so that was certainly a big achievement. Chap and Flickzy could potentially be favourites for the Esports World Cup. We'll have to see how that goes. And the third game was won by King Cringe and Velo. Again, 2 players that are very good at Reload. They really put the time into the mode even before the announcement of the Reload Elite series, so it's no surprise to see them doing well. Kinch actually put out a really interesting stat. In terms of the Duo Victory Cups, not including Reload, this is just Battle Royale, but in terms of the Duo Victory Cups, King Cringe actually had the most wins with 12, and Velo was 3rd place with 10 10 wins. So clearly these guys have been working super hard. They're always at the top of leaderboards, and this is just more evidence of that. I do think they're going to have a great 2026. I'm sure they'll get qualified to some grand finals. The only thing I worry about a little bit with these two is their mentality, but that will improve. That will certainly improve this year. And once that does improve, all you're left with is the talent and the hard work, and that will carry them to some excellent placements. Over on NA Central, we didn't have a European team win a game, but we did have Shxrk and Th0ma manage the second place. Credit to them. Now, I promised at the start of the video that I'd talk about some org news, the biggest piece of course being that TaySon has left Falcons after 5 years of being a player there. If you know your Fortnite history, you'll remember that him leaving Guild to sign for Falcons was a huge deal, the biggest money Fortnite transfer we'd seen up until that point. Really historic moment, and that's all come to a close now. TaySon leaving Falcons, I mean, it's widely accepted that this is to make way for Poyo signing. If you didn't see, Poyo has officially left M8, so that is all looking like it's going to happen. In terms of TaySon's new org, he has said that he is looking to sign for someone new with his teammate Wx. Wx obviously currently a player with Havoc, but they have allowed him to explore his options. This also confirms that TaySon and Wx will be sticking for 2026. I wasn't 100% sure that this would be the case, but they do have a long-term future together, and I could see them doing very well. The other big news is that Virtus.pro have returned to Fortnite, and they've made a big statement by signing TaySon and Focus. I've been saying for a while now that TaySon and Focus are one of the top teams in EU. It doesn't feel like they get spoken about enough proportionately for how good they are. They place highly in a lot of events. They won a divisional cup in Chapter 6 Season 4. I'm feeling very confident about these guys, and I think come FNCS they will perform well. A very intelligent signing from Virtus.pro, an organisation that obviously will care about the overall leaderboard at the Esports World Cup, so it makes sense that they've signed a duo for the Reload Elite Series. Good work from them. In other org news, we also had XP42 sign Shxrk and Jake Buka. Congratulations to them both. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I make these kind of videos every few days to keep you guys up to date on everything that happens in the EU. If you want to support me any further, then using code SPUDSON in the Fortnite item shop is a great way to do that. Thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one.